Hi everyone! Welcome to Artsonia's After School Art Club. Today, we have a fun art project from Mr. Melvin, an art teacher from Wisconsin. Hope you enjoy the video, and don't forget to have your artwork uploaded to your Artsonia gallery.
Well, hello there! Today I'm going to be working on lemurs, or a lemur drawing. In this picture I'm thinking maybe a family of lemurs. To get started I'm going to need pencils, an eraser, Sharpies for my outline, and crayons. My first decision is portrait or landscape for my paper. Portrait or vertically would mean more room for background, less room for lemurs. Horizontally or landscape means more room for lemurs, so that's going to work best with my lemur family idea. Getting started, I sketch out space for my lemurs. I just draw 3 equally sized lines across the bottom of the paper. That's going to tell me where my lemurs have to fit in. Without doing a step like that, I might actually run out of space and have one of my lemurs crammed into the side there. I want to treat all my lemurs nicely. I care about them all, so I give them just about equal space. To get started on this process, I'm actually going to do letters to start out the legs. WW. The second W's got just a little bit of a longer line. In step number 2, I connect the middle points of those W's to add space for the lemur's belly. Kind of an oval, not a complete oval, but an oval for the head. And then I connect the back of the head to the back of the legs. From there I add in a nice long tail, and then I add lines and shapes to show the lemur's eyes, ears, and nose. Here's a fun fact about these little critters. Lemurs actually have tails that are longer than their entire body, and they use those tails to balance while they climb and run and do other sorts of fun lemur things. As I outline my drawing, I want to recommend that you have something under your paper whenever you outline with a Sharpie or permanent marker. Remember to respect the space that you're working in, especially if a parent or a friend is letting you work in their house. You don't want to ruin their table. I don't want you to ruin their table. Please put something under your paper if you're going to Sharpie or outline with a permanent marker like I am. While I continue the outlining process, I want to talk about something to come in this video, so please stay along with me. When I get to coloring, I'm going to show you a cool technique that I call embossing the paper. I'm going to keep that a little bit of a secret for right now and talk more about it once I start it on screen. But for right now, I just hope you enjoy these lemurs and all they have to offer. Alright, next I'm going to pick up my pencil and my eraser again. I'm ready to add a background in. Remember that you are the artist. I always want to say that. You are the artist, and here at Mr. Melvin Makes, I just want you to have the freedom to make whatever kind of background you want. Mine's going to be a little bit realistic. I kind of like the educational idea of this picture. Let's talk about lemurs. Lemurs would live in sort of a forested area, so I'm going to draw a background showing that. Kind of a rainforest. I'll even add the canopy of trees up top, but you are a creative person and you have the choice to make any sort of background or finish it however you want. So from here on out, follow along with me, try your best to stay up to date, or do your own thing. I'm going to draw in quickly just kind of the skyline here of the canopy. I guess it's not technically a skyline, it's more a tree line, showing the tops of the trees where these lemurs might live. And then I'm going to add one important detail quickly with my pencil before I just jump into it. And that is a line that goes across the page, sort of like this. And you can see I'm showing overlapping as it goes behind each lemur. That is called the horizon line. And if you don't know what that is, the horizon line is where the ground meets the sky. It's a very important aspect of space in a picture. You can get really detailed with horizon lines as you go forward, but for the sake of a kind of beginner project like this, a line that goes from one side to the other shows me and shows us as viewers that this down here is ground, that's where the lemurs are living, and then this up here is background and sky. It's a great visual tool to show space so things don't look so flat. Again, follow along with me. I want to thank you for even clicking on this video and taking a look at this with me. It's been fun making it so far. I know I'm going to enjoy the rest of it going forward. So I took a little bit of a break after outlining and was surprised to find a little present from my cat Stella there. She left me a nice great big hairball, but you know, I still love her anyway. So as promised, I'm going to show you a technique that I like to call embossing the paper. And what that basically does is that puts a pattern or design on your drawing that will appear white when you color over it with something like crayon or colored pencil. What it's basically doing is creating an indentation on the paper, kind of a groove or a valley in the paper that won't take in color from something dry like crayon, chalk, or anything else kind of in that same category of media. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a scrap piece of paper, I am putting it on top of my drawing, and then with a hard and sharp pencil I'm just drawing firmly or pressing hard with my hand as I draw a pattern of leaves. And I'm doing this specifically in my trees right now so that I've got an embossed leaf pattern. You can see now when I color over the tree with a green, as we zoom in, that pattern that I drew in pencil on that second sheet of paper still shows up. So in this time-lapse section you can see me just finishing that out. I'm also adding just some wavy lines where the trunks of each tree are, and that's going to show me really rich texture in both the trees and the leaves. This is just a fun technique to try if you're looking for something different. It is a little time consuming, but people will think you worked super hard to make it happen, and you know what, truthfully you did if you gave that a shot at home. Remember, here at Mr. Melvin Makes, you are in total control of your background and your choices, but right now I'd actually just like to talk a little bit about lemurs and why I made some of the choices I made for my background. Okay, so here are some lemur fun facts for you. Lemurs live in the forests of Madagascar. Madagascar is an island off the coast of Africa, and because lemurs live in forests, I thought it would be nice to add trees and lots of green to show that forest. Unfortunately, the truth is, many lemurs are endangered because of habitat loss in their environment, meaning people are coming in and cutting down the trees that they live in. That brings me to another sort of fun fact, and that is that many lemurs spend their entire lives in trees and can even live their whole life without touching the ground. I decided to put my lemurs on the ground just because I wanted to make a family of lemurs that were a little bit more adventurous. So you may have noticed my first lemur, the one all the way to the right there, has got a crown on their head, really showing that they're important, a leader of this pack or family. And you might have thought to yourself, that's a nifty idea, I like that king lemur there. When I've taught a lesson like this to my students, I have lots of misconceptions about that being a king lemur. If you thought that, that's fine, but I'm going to tell you now that lemurs are actually one of the few animals where females are 100% dominant over the males. Talk about girl power. So that one right up front with the crown on their head would not be king lemur, that would be queen lemur. Alright, in these last steps here, I want to have you notice the impact shading has on your overall drawing. Using a darker shade, I can round out my picture by making smooth transitions from shadow to light. Viewers really appreciate shading because it takes a flat drawing and makes it look more three-dimensional, more realistic, and more believable. If that's a type of style you're going for, then I recommend trying it just as I did there. I want to leave you with a huge thank you, and I really hope you enjoyed this activity. I'm also going to leave with a sort of silly joke I found in a cereal box. Where would a lemur get a new tail? From a retail outlet, of course.